To the Buddha I return and rely, vowing that all living beings profoundly understand the great way and bring forth the Bodhi mind. To the Dharma I return and rely, vowing that all living beings deeply enter the sutra and have wisdom like the sea. To the Sangha I return and rely, vowing that all living beings apply love and compassion to all.
You want me to do anything else? Eh? What? You said no?
Invite us to do our preliminaries, contemplation of impermanence. All conditioned phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow, morning dew, or a flash of lightning. All sentient beings will definitely die. All inanimate things will definitely perish. This principle applies to my body, which is composed of the four great elements. I will be separated from my family and friends one day. Time is pushing my age forward. Early youth is followed by the robust years of life, which is followed by old age, which is followed by death. Sounds or flowing water never return after they are gone. The thoughts and words of this very moment have already become impermanent. I will come closer and closer to death. Death has no set time to it. I could go to the next world at any moment simply because my breathing stops. I can take no worldly possessions whatsoever with me to the next world. These principles apply to my very own body. And the four convictions of enunciation. Obtaining a human birth is extremely rare. If I take this to heart, I will seize the essence of this precious life. If wasted, this rare opportunity will be destroyed. The root of all happiness is bringing benefit to others and attaining immeasurable freedom. Therefore, the more I reduce grasping, the more I will experience true happiness. Since the time of death is uncertain, I must act now and not be lazy or procrastinate in my practice. By just recognizing that all dharmas are empty, dependent on causes and conditions, I will become skilled in what to adopt and what to discard. So I'm going to talk this morning or this afternoon about attachment and aversion. And you're going, again? Don't we always talk about attachment? Attachment this and attachment that. Abandon, attachment, and aversion. Why do we attach? the obvious mine, this, that. Why do we attach? What's the impetus? Do we even know we're attaching till we're attached? I think I'll attach. I think I'll jump in and get connected here and grasp and hold and cling until it hurts. And usually it has to hurt. It has to hurt. And it's not just attachment to friends, people, attachment to things, to thoughts. Now, why do we, when we talk about mind and thoughts, do we point here? Is the mind here? Is the mind here? Oh. No. Why do we attach? Attachment.
It belongs to me. I've had it for a long time. There's nothing like it in this world. It's mine. I know you want it, and I really can't blame you. You'd like to touch it, but if you do, I'll maim you. So if you value your life, you value your face, you accept this at face value. It's mine, I won't shed it, it's mine. I feel the envy in your eyes each time you see it. But you know that it's rightfully mine, you'd better believe it. When I'm gone and you're alone, don't even try it. 'Cause I'll know, yes, I'll know, and you could never deny it. So if you value your life, you value your face, you'll accept this at face value. It's mine, I won't shed it, it's mine. I saw it first. It's mine. I had it last. It's mine. Oh, can't you see? It's made for me. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Mine. It is a treasure, uniquely one of a kind. Any king would be proud to possess. It's mine. It's my pleasure, my comfort, my joy. It is the love of my life. On an island alone by myself in a sea of desire. So if you value your life, you value your face, you accept this at face value. It's mine, I won't shed it, it's mine. Mine!
And that's all I have to say today. So, yes,
Where'd you find that at?
I have to ask Maureen.
Oh,
I asked her for a song and this is what she gave me. But it was perfect.
Good.
Because I want you to think about the song as you smiled, you laughed, you carried on in your mind about, wow, this is a great song, but it's true. It's what we do. This is how we do it. This is grasping and clinging, attaching. And as silly and as fun as that was, it's suffering and it hurts. and it creates pain. So next time you find yourself out and about, or next time you find yourself in exchange with someone, whether it be someone you live with, or someone at the grocery store, or someone on the road, or think about this. Is that how you really want to be? Are you willing to go that far? We have continued to do our Dharma study, and we're about over halfway through the book after all this time. And I was curious, how many times does Buddha Master talk about attachment? Anybody guess?
In that volume?
In the volume.
It's gotta be hundreds.
Anybody else? I started counting and I stopped.
Probably close
It's
to 1,000.
Over 200 for sure. For sure. And so it's important. And he's not the only one. Pick up any Buddha Dharma and it's going to talk about attachment. And if not directly, a way to deal with attachment. We're surrounded by it, and it's at our own doing. Our own doing. Just to give you a flavor, I started looking at them, and the first few were at the very beginning of expounding. Only then can we truly cut off self-attachment, right from the start. One cannot enter a holy state without cutting off attachment to self. Rather, it means no self-attachment. And these are just references. That is, with non-attachment, one neither clings to emptiness nor falls into existence. In learning Buddha Dharma, our first requirement is cutting off attachment to self. That was just part one. That was the beginning. And I only took a few. In learning Buddha Dharma, this is later, our first requirement is cutting off attachment to self. There it is again. With attachment, there are the 6 sense bases. Well, now we're getting a link. Without the 6 sense bases, would we have attachment? No, he's saying not. Only because of the delusive thoughts and attachments are living beings unable to find and see the light. The delusive thoughts of living beings cause their attachment to the object of the 6 sense bases. There it is again. If we want to remove our karmic hindrances, we must first let go of attachment to the 6 sense bases and must understand that the state of the 5 aggregates engaging with the 6 sense objects is empty. Now he's telling us more. It's all empty, but we keep grasping and attaching and looking for and yielding to the sense bases. So what's the key here? I mean, he's telling us this. If you're reading any Buddha Dharma, you're going to get this. It's said differently in different places. He says, here I am telling all of you that to realize your original nature, you must cut off the path of language and extinguish attachment to mental activity. As long as you have attachment, there exists phenomena. As long as you're attached, there's going to be phenomena. Why? Because we're attaching to phenomena through the sense bases. Attachment itself is phenomena. And the last one, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, attachment to self must first be eradicated. First thing. And so I'm going to ask you, and not looking for an answer, where are you with all that? When was the last time you had a situation, an example for yourself that you stopped and went, oh, I'm getting attached here. I'm getting attached to the person, getting attached to the place. I'm getting attached to my thoughts. I'm getting attached to my way. I'm getting attached. I'm getting attached. I'm getting attached. When was the last time you really thought that way? You stopped yourself and said, whoa. Because it doesn't matter how many people sit up here, what you read, what you hear. If you're not willing to do that, eradicate, that's a big word, eradicate. That's big. That means getting rid of it. That's the first step. Because if we don't do that, if we remain attached to self, everything else is going to continue the way it's always been. No matter if you're 10, 22, 44, 89. Doesn't matter. I've been spending mornings. Before I do that, my most recent attachment was just this morning. Just this morning. My day started with just a welcoming of the day, like I usually do, a little bit of practice. Came out and did a puja, and I went back into my room, and there was a phone call from Venerable. She's not feeling well. Please do the Dharma. Now, on top of that, today's my day to cook. And on top of that, we were going to do pranayama. And I thought, I can do that. And well, I sat with the phone call and the text. Okay. I broke up with attachment. This is what my day will bring. This is what I'm going to do. Felt pretty good. And then I sat there and thought, oh my goodness. Took a deep breath. My mind started twisting and turning for just probably 10 seconds. And I said, stop. Stop. That's not necessary. And then I lovingly got a call from Busita, who was offering to help. And I wasn't there yet. And as much as I appreciated the offer, right out of the gate, hardly a breath. And he said, I need to just think about it for a minute. I need to take my pause. She said, okay. And then I gathered myself together and put together a thought, a plan. Well, I won't do the pranayama. I'll look at what is it that I want to say today. What is it that I want to share? What is most alive with me right now? And that was attachment. That was attachment to my schedule, to my day, to what I thought was going to happen. And I'm betting that none of you have ever experienced that. Never. Never.
I'm happy for you though.
Lessons abound. So I also got great support from my community right here, and asked for help, and I was given it wholeheartedly in all the ways. After the pranayama, I went in and said, how can we help? I need to get everything upstairs. I was still kind of on that level. And everybody was in the kitchen, grabbing stuff to take upstairs. And stationed already was Maureen and Amelia. Wow. Okay, so then amped it down a bit. Kind of talked about what it was I wanted to do for today. Everybody was on board, tamped it down again. Came back downstairs because it was in good hands in all levels. Attachment, aversion. First aversion came up. I'm not ready. I didn't, and that lasted 10 seconds. Okay, attachment. And the fact that we've been studying, especially this last week with the 12 conditioned, right, links. It's right there. This is your opportunity, I said to myself. So here we are. The other thing I do in the morning as a practice is I look at the 37 practices of a bodhisattva. And there's many, many, many different teachers that do their commentaries on that. And the one that came up was the very second verse. In my native land, waves of attachment to friends and kin surge. Hatred for enemies rages like fire. The darkness of stupidity, not caring what to adopt or avoid, thickens. To abandon my native land is the practice of a bodhisattva. Second verse. Second verse. Shanti Diva. That second verse comes from the sort of 37 practices. And here, native land does not mean the native land. It's inside. It's the native land inside. In my native land, waves of attachment to friends and kin surge. So go exploring, go examining the internal native land. And what do you find? Think for a second, what's in there? What's in your native land? Just take a minute and consider. We've all heard the saying, no matter where you go, there you are. No matter where we go, our mind is with us. We don't say, okay, mind, you're going to stay home today. Tuck it in and say, okay, I'm not going to need you today. Or we might say it, but it seldom happens. No matter where we go, our mind is with us. And it is our mind that has all our hatred and the darkness of our unknowing. Of our unknowing. Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche says, the meaning of leaving behind your native land is to leave behind the emotions of attachment, hatred, and the obscuring ignorance that permeates both. These three poisons, generally speaking, are most active in the relationships you establish with family and friends, but it's not simply there. And what are the three poisons? Greed, hatred, and delusion. So how often people react out of old habits without even really thinking about it. We don't even know we're doing it sometimes until it's too late, we catch ourselves, or we start paying attention to what's going on. And as I've said many, many times, our first alert system is in our body. For me, it's the gut, the breathing, and then the heat in the face. What is yours? Again, it's a question for you to ponder. What is your first alert system? How do you know when it's starting to bubble, percolate? Sometimes we don't get a chance to even consider it because we're off and running. We're reacting like a horse getting out of the gate. They're trained to take off. And that's what happens with our mind. That's what happens with our habitual tendencies. So many negativities come up because of the way other people and their habitual tendencies might serve up their stuff in order for us to serve up our stuff, in order for them to serve up their stuff, in order for us to serve up our stuff. You see? And when do you stop? When do you stop and say, wait a minute, what are we doing? What's going on here? Or wait a minute, what am I doing? Maybe I don't have another person around making this happen. Because our mind is always with us. How do we catch our mind, our thinking? The problem isn't the native land, it's our habitual, ordinary thinking, our responses. These are what we must leave behind. How do you do that? You know, you can sit here and listen to Rosita, Joe, me, Jim, Maureen, any one of us can be sitting here. And you go, yeah, that was a great Dharma talk. And yet our mind remains king. Buddha said the cause of our suffering, our dukkha, is attachment, clinging, grasping, and underneath this, we find feelings. And that is one of the core drivers, the feelings. I'm hurt, I'm disappointed, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm all these things that create what we do with the story we're telling ourselves. This is mine, as the song says, this is mine. No matter what it is, this is mine. This is my phone, this is my pen, this is my paper, this is my drink. Don't drink it, it's mine. Oh, and it is so good. Does it make you want to have some? You should, it's really good, but you can't have it. The next word that we hear almost as often as attachment is cultivation. Now, I know as many times as there's attachment and in our studies that we come together every Tuesday and Friday, cultivation comes up at least that much. At least that much. So what is your cultivation around attachment? What are you doing around cultivation? What does that look like for you? And we've touched on it, we've talked about it, we've processed it, we've danced through it. We say, I just got to cultivate. You need to cultivate. This needs to be cultivated. What do we really do? And do you do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result with your cultivation? In Buddhism, the term cultivation often refers to the development and refinement of the mind, virtue, and wisdom. There you have it. Now, if we're in college, that would be on a test. What is the definition of cultivation? And you would say the development and refinement of the mind, virtue, and wisdom. And I would give you 3 points. And you'd walk out the door. And that would be it. The Buddha emphasized the importance of cultivating wholesome mental states. Wholesome mental states. Wholesome mental states. Ethical conduct.
Mm-hmm.
And can you turn that down, please? And insight in order to progress on the path of enlightenment. Cultivating wholesome mental states, ethical conduct, insight in order to progress on the path of enlightenment. How's that working for you? Wholesome mental state. Do you stop yourself and say, is that a wholesome mental state? That'd be a good technique before you even open your mouth. But the problem then is that the thoughts, see how I'm pointing? The thoughts start first. If we don't catch it, then the speech or actions follow. If we could stop and say, is this wholesome? Is this action going to be wholesome? Is what I say next going to be wholesome? Or do we just step into it and blurt it out? Or worse, I think it. Think it. So I want to share some key teachings that the Buddha shared. Primary teaching on spiritual cultivation is where? Eightfold Path. The one that's been there forever, that we often know about, but we don't really spend a whole lot of time with. The Eightfold Path. Right view. Now, I know we've talked about this in the last few months. Right view. Right intention. So we got a view. Now what's my intention? Then it goes to speech. So if we haven't caught ourselves with view, and we haven't really explored the intention, then what happens with the speech or action? Those are the first four. We're done for if we don't even spend time with those. May I have right view, right intention, right speech, and right action today. And really mean it. Or write it down on a piece of paper. Put it on the steering wheel of your car. Before you get out of the car, going to work or going to the store or going to visit a friend, right view. What will be my right view today? When I step into this next situation, what is my intention? What is my speech? What would be my action? And if we do those four things, I will say, with what little retirement I have left, you will have it. If you do that and you don't have a different outcome. Four things. And there's many things, you don't have to do that, but just think about it. Just think about not just us, but if the world, right? Our community, our city, our state, our country had right view and stop to think about it. Not just think, oh yeah, I got right view. Oh yeah, my intention's good. My speech, of course, my speech is good. My actions, yeah. And then you walk away and you think, oh, could have done that differently. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Buddha said, if we follow this path, and then we can reduce or eliminate our suffering. I mean, there's livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration that are all equally as important. But if we, out of the gate, we let that horse take off, then those things are going to be hard to find, those things as we're racing to whatever end we have. Racing through the morning, racing through the afternoon, racing through the day. Just to stop. But you know, those racehorses have people in the stands cheering them on, faster, faster, faster. And we do too. Not just our mind, but people around us. That's what our society asks us to do. Hurry up, get it done, do this, do that. And we believe it and we do it. And in case we don't, we may lose. You know, you're not doing the job, you're out of here. So then there's a little bit of fear that comes into play in our world. If we don't do it right, fast enough, quick enough. Second teaching is cultivation of mindfulness and concentration, samadhi. Buddhists got this down. Mindfulness, it's everywhere. And Venerable talks about that a lot. And Buddha asks us to consider this and practice it. But you see where it lands? after the Eightfold Path. Right concentration, right mindfulness, right concentration at the very end of the Eightfold Path. Mindfulness and concentration can help us uproot. They can help us contemplate. They can help us engage with what we're doing and how we're doing it. The Buddha encouraged us to cultivate wisdom through reflection and these truths. How is your reflection going? Are you doing it? Not just it was a good day, or it was a no good, very bad day. Not that. Reflection. Reflection. After I kind of got myself settled, I went back upstairs and the kitchen was cleaned up. The food was ready. It was a very good moment for me. It was a very good moment. Cultivation on impermanence, cultivation on suffering, cultivation on non-self, no self. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Cultivation of virtue. The Buddha emphasized the importance of ethical conduct as a foundation for spiritual development. And that'll be the second question on the quiz. By cultivating virtues such as kindness, compassion, generosity, and non-harming, individuals purify their minds and create the condition for deeper meditation and wisdom. You get an outcome here. You get a result here. But the Buddha's not going to do it for you. Joe's not going to do it for you. And Maureen's not going to do it for you. It has to happen in your native land. Cultivation of right effort. Cultivation of loving kindness. If we lead with loving kindness, the moment we get out of bed, the moment we walk through the door, if we catch ourselves and say, may I be loving and kind in this moment, in this day. And maybe if it's not working so well, somewhere in yourself, you say, go to your room and try again. Step away and begin again. So in summary, cultivation in the Buddhist teaching involves the ongoing effort to develop wholesome mental states, ethical conduct, insight into the nature of reality. That's the third question on the quiz. Are you doing it? How's it working? Now we're ordinary human beings and we've got to practice this. We're not going to get it right all the time, maybe not even half the time. But my goal is freedom. Freedom from suffering, freedom from pain, freedom from doing myself harm and doing harm to others. The Logdong training helps us with this. It's just another way to go about it. The practice helps us, not just the Logdong, but our practice, to step back and says, step back. Hear yourself speak. And you can do that in the middle of your speaking. Let me take a second. Hear yourself speak. What's the tone of voice? What's the kind of language you're using? The way we speak and what we say is important. All the time. Just listen. Just listen. Just listen. So in the Lojong training, we also are learning how to cultivate skillful responses to our habitual, unskillful ways. We're trying to cultivate our inner change. Our inner change. Not out here. I'm not going to try to change you. And that's something I'm really looking at. I'm not great at it yet. I'm not even good at it yet. But I'm looking at when I am in a group or just by myself. I look at myself. Why and how, not just why, but how do we get attached to people, places, things, stuff? Our ways of being, our righteousness, our habitual tendencies. Pick one. We have many to choose from. Which one would you like to attach yourself to or unattach yourself to? It's not serving you anymore. Is that true? To change physical habits is a challenge. We all know that. That's something that is advertised in books, and we have hired people at gyms to help you navigate that. But at least the trainers I've had, they don't just say, make that exercise right. They also talk about how you talk to yourself. They talk about, as I would say to the kids, I can't do this math problem. Not yet. But it takes practice. And what takes even more practice is our mental and emotional habits. What are yours? Think about it for a minute. What are your mental and emotional habits? That's even more of a challenge. What are they? And it's not enough just to know they exist. What are you doing about it? What's your commitment? The good news is that we can change. I've had the opportunity to sit with and study neuroscience. And we all have read, I'm sure, or at least heard about the fact that we can reorganize our brain. We can develop new neural pathways. And just like the path in the forest, when you start doing another path because this one is being worn out, and oftentimes the Park Service will reroute a new path. After a period of time, that old path has got flowers in it and its growth is different. We can do that. We can develop a new neural pathway. Instead of saying, oh, that's just the way I am, or that's just the way he or she is, we can look at that person or look at ourselves and say, no, it doesn't have to be that way. A friend of mine once said about her ex-partner, that's just Carol being Carol. Boy, that is a limiting mindset, a limiting thought. And we tend to do that all the time. They'll never change. The good news is it can change. Just like a river. We had a huge storm that we're still talking about. Remember that storm? It's a hurricane, not just a little thunder lightning storm. And rivers were redirected because there was so much flow. If rivers can be redirected, we can be redirected. We don't always have to do what we've always done. Likewise, we can make new channels. Pani Deepa used to talk about that. Change the channel. We can create our own channels. We don't have to look at what's on the screen and say, okay, which one should I choose? No, we can create our own channel. Which channel do you want to make? Which channel are you willing to make and use? And then be able to stop and reflect and say, was that the right channel? And maybe that's a not yet. Maybe that's a not yet. Buddha Master said, we can change. And Buddha Master has given us succinct guidelines, as has the Buddha, to do it. So we don't have to be wandering around in the wilderness, not knowing. It's right there, if we're willing to learn about it and practice it. And the beauty of being in Sangha is they are there to help. You don't have to be in the desert alone. Ask for help. And of course, there's good ways of asking for help and not so good. And there's good ways of giving help and not so good ways of giving help. So it's very important to be aware of that. This is the message. This is the teaching. This is our opportunity. Doesn't take hours of sitting here talking about it. So what are you willing to do to feel better? What are you willing to do to not suffer? What are you willing to do to experience and live in freedom? Freedom from suffering, freedom from pain, the joy that we can experience, the delight. We get to have that. We get to have that. I'm going to invite us to get quiet, do a meditation for just a few minutes. Sit comfortably with a straight but relaxed posture. Bring attention to your breath. Let it be natural. Notice your breath going through the nostrils and out of the nostrils. Just the breath. Feel the body supported by the ground, your feet firmly planted. Stability. Safe, stable, present. Bring to mind something you feel strong attachment towards. This might be a person, an object, a habit, or even an idea of self. Choose one that is noticeable, but not overwhelming, that you can't look at for the same space. Where do you feel this attachment in the body? Tightness in the chest, a pull in the gut, any sense of mine, any sense of mental patterns such as grasping, imagining, replaying, any sense of loss, fear. Simply watch without judgment. Ask gently, why am I attached to this? How am I attached to this? See if you can uncover the hope or fear underneath. Hope for pleasure, security, recognition. Fear of loss, loneliness, insignificance. Imagine this person, object, or situation changing. All things do. That's impermanence. Let yourself really know that nothing can be held forever. Nothing. Just recognize the truth of change. Ask yourself, if this changes or disappears, do I disappear? The I that clings is just a mental construct. It shifts and changes. Now let go of the story for a few moments and rest in that open space. Feel what it's like when the hand of the mind relaxes its grip. Even if attachment returns, you've tasted freedom. May we relate to all things with wisdom and compassion. May this insight benefit all beings.